Now, first things first, make sure that you unplug your laptop and make sure that you take all of the cords off of it. You don't want to have it accidentally turn on. Make sure it's completely shut down. You don't want it on because you might lose important files or something like that by pushing the buttons and that kind of thing. So just make sure that it's turned off. First thing I'm going to do, and this seems like a really crazy basic thing to do, but I'm just going to tip it upside down very carefully, and I'm going to shake it. And I can see goodies coming out of it. I'm lightly, gently shaking it. I don't want anybody to drop their electronics, so be very careful. But I think you can probably see that this dust came out of there. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a soft brush that I use for vacuuming, and I'm just going to brush across this with the vacuum cleaner. Now, you have to make sure that you do the underside too. So before I give it a wipe, I can still see that there are little lint balls and things that are still in the keys. So I'm going to take a really soft brush. This is just like a dish brush. The softer the better. And I'm just going to go along the keys, and I'm just going to gently try to pull some of the lint and stuff out. Go both ways on the keys. And give it another vacuum after that. So this is Dr. Bronner's. This is a really great all-purpose organic vegan cleaner. I use it in a lot of my videos, and I recommend it highly because it's got so many uses. Very, very, very concentrated. You don't need to use a ton. It does not suds up, so don't expect it to. If you smell a light scent when you put it into your bucket, that's all you need. So I'm going to try to show you. There's no magic measurement. I've had a lot of people ask, "Oh, how much do you use?" And I always say a squirt. And I know that's not very technical and not very easy to possibly follow. Now this is a fair sized bucket, and I only have about this much water in here. So I'm just going to try to show you. That's it. That's all you need. Just a few drops, just enough to kind of give it a nice light scent. That means you've got enough in there. I wouldn't use any other cleaners on my equipment as far as computers and that kind of thing go, just because chemicals can have different kind of reactions and that sort of thing. And I know that this is safe. I've used it on things before of this nature. Use your own discretion, again, and be very careful not to get water into the different elements of your computer. And so all I've got here is just an old receiving blanket that's a ripped up one. It's quite small. And I'm just going to wet it, and I've got the water fairly warm. And then I'm just going to go over top lightly on my equipment. Now there's some keys that are pretty gummed up. I actually had some that were sticking. So just go over top of it and skim the top. Now these are, I believe, I don't know, speakers or something. I don't know very much about electronics. All I know is if you get things into the holes and get them really wet, it's not good. This cloth is not soaking wet. There's no dripping going on. So I'm just going to wipe the areas that have the little holes, and I'm going to give them a little rub. And I'm going to continue to go over top of all of the keys. Oh, they're looking so much better. And get all the gummy areas. And then for the screen, because I've used this on my screen before, I know it does not do any harm, but you want to dry everything fairly promptly. I'm just going to give it a wipe. Do not ever spray something directly onto the screen. That can be dangerous. Just use the cloth with a bit of Dr. Bronner's and water, like I've shown you, and just go across it. It was really bad. And just give it a good go. It's, you know, this one is not entirely delicate, I have to say. And I have another cloth. This one is a sheet, an old sheet. And you would think that they wouldn't be very absorbent, but they're the best for mirrors and TV screens and anything like that. So I'm just going to make sure that I promptly wipe it. And it is looking really shiny. I wish you could see. There we go. That's how shiny that puppy is. So now, you know, you can give your top a little bit of a wipe. The screen looks fantastic. I probably will be able to see all my friends on social media a lot better now. And I'm going to close it up. And I'm going to do the outside because it gets yucky too. Let's face it, the whole thing is just a dust magnet and germs. So make sure you rinse your cloth out once in a while. Oh, it is splashed everywhere. And make sure it's not dripping. And then do the sides. Be gentle with it. Be careful. Don't drop it. It's the worst thing that could happen. So do it over top of a surface where you're not lifting it very high. And especially when you have it open, you don't want to crash the screen down or anything. So just be really, really careful. Always use your own discretion because each laptop is different and I don't want any accidents. I don't want anybody telling me that they've destroyed their technology. It's expensive. But let's face it, it needs to be clean just like anything else in the house. So I've washed the underside now, which I feel really good about because, like I said, these little gaps, they are for ventilation, to let air in and to, you know, make sure that your computer doesn't overheat. So that's all clean. Now I'm going to wipe it again, all the parts that I've done. And it's amazing. It's like a new laptop. Oh, I missed a few spots. It's probably because I closed it and there could have been dampness on the key. So make sure that before you close it, that you get every little bit. There we go. So I'd give it a little bit of time. If you have a fan or an air purifier that just blows a little bit of air, you could cool air. You could just kind of, you know, blow a little bit of air on it just to be on the safe side that you've gotten all the moisture out. But if you do it with just a damp cloth, you shouldn't have any problems with it. Use your own discretion. And I'll probably just let mine sit for maybe an hour or so and just be on the safe side that it's all ready to be used again. And then I can contact everybody on Instagram and Google Plus and YouTube and all that. Yeah. Oh, damn. Shoot, stay. Damn it. Excuse me. Uh-oh, the battery's getting low. Damn. Okay, stay, cell phone. Stay.